remember, the door was like really sagging down. It didn't close properly. I'll check this out. Now, actually was really simple. Right here, you see there's a screw right there and there's a screw on the bottom right there, and the second screw on the bottom right there was missing, so that was enough for the whole door to sag down. Now I put a screw in there. I actually got from the parts probe I have, and now the door shuts. So on this bottom piece right here is also a screw missing, so there has to be, so I have to get a screw in there too, but it's not preventing the door from shutting properly, and on the other side it's actually the same. So get inside, perfectly closing the door. So other than that, I've cleaned it a little bit. It still needs a lot of cleaning. It's registered, but obviously with the steering like that I can't really drive it, so I didn't really drive it. Now with the steering wheel as straight as possible and the whole car on a flat ground, you take a rope, a string or something like that, and you're going to attach it at the back to the back wheel, go around the front wheel with it, and this gives us a phase line as to how our alignment is off. And if we go around to the other side, you can see that our alignment is a bit off on that side. Well, a bit is doesn't adjust it, as you can see right here. It's off by at least a centimeter, if not more. So oddly enough, the loose lock nut was on this side, but as you can see on this side, the string touches the tire on both sides, almost touches the back tire. So I think the alignment on this side is fairly okay, and the problem really is on the other side. Although the previous owner told me that the steering wheel wasn't on straight, so it could as well be that the steering wheel is off by one tooth, and the actual the alignment issue comes from this side, but with the steering wheel straight it just fits again. Now this isn't exactly a proper alignment, but it'll give you at least a rough alignment so you can drive around until you can get a proper alignment. And as you can see, it's 1.5 centimeters out on this side. First thing to do is remove the wheel, obviously. Note that I still use the scissors jack that came with the vehicle, as my floor jack is about a centimeter too high to fit underneath the car. Now the real fun begins. Needless to say, I used a lot of penetrating oil and WD-40, but see for yourself. The lock nut was removed quite easy considering the rust and grime, but the tie rod wasn't going to be so easy on me. After trying a normal wrench and hammer, normal wrench and big extension for extensive amount of tries, I figured it's not going to budge. So in with another tried and proven method that is totally legit, the floor jack extension. Wait for it. Wait for it. Well, yeah, it's not happening. All that it does is round off the wrench and tie rod. So after a few days actually of spraying with WD-40 and other penetrating oils and several tries, even with a big pipe wrench, I decided to buy a new tie rod and tie rod end, as this is not going to loosen up at all. So here we have it, the new parts. Will they fit? Oh, that's the hint for later. As it turns out, the new tie rod end is about a centimeter too long. You can see right there where the tie rod end ends, there isn't any casting left on the tie rod end, so there isn't any thread nor hole left inside it at all. So marking a centimeter off, and onto the angle grinder we go. I love that little chop side headband for the angle grinder. Now with the nut still on, grinding the cut smooth. By unscrewing the nuts, the damaged thread gets fixed. Simple and easy. Now I cut the old tie rod apart to get the boot off, since the new one didn't come with one. Then I measure the old tie rod at the amount of alignment is off, and so I might have a roughly aligned car afterwards. Not only was the tie rod too long, also the sheet metal thingy opening had a diameter too small to fit over the steering rack end, so out comes the drama. The video is cut short quite a bit. I was grinding a lot until it did fit. Might also have to do with the fact that I didn't have the proper grinding bit for the job. So, in with the new. This did go surprisingly uneventful, as you can see. Just putting the new nut on, torquing it down to 22 foot-pounds or 30 Newton meter for that matter. Now all that is left to do is put the wheel back on, drop the car on the ground and redo the alignment. by the way, I did torque the wheels before driving. Well, good morning YouTube. So it's the morning after the last clip and I've driven the probe, but the alignment obviously isn't right yet. So you saw in that clip that I did a rough measurement of the old tie rod and the new tie rod and added the 7.5 millimeters on that side that I needed, but obviously that wasn't really precise and it was a bit too much, so the wheels are now toe in, back on, as you can see, and it touches here and it also touches here. So you could say, well, perfect, but well, if this part of the tire comes out, obviously the alignment isn't right, but the string still touches. So if the car has toe in, meaning the front end of the tire is this way, the string method doesn't work like that. So right now the string here barely touches. And now if you go that side, moment, right there where the string stops touching, that is the amount. Wheel still off. As you can see, it's quite a bit, so I could develop some method of measuring this, but for that I would need a very heavy object right here so that doesn't move, so I can measure the distance to the tire like that, and also the distance as soon as this string is free. But I'm just going to do it the other way around. I move the auto tie rod end a few turns in, so it has toe out again, and then I'm measuring the distance and go in a second time very correctly. So this is right, so a little change of plans, so I can see through there and I can get my arm around there, so I can change the alignment while the tire is facing straight and not have to turn the wheel to one side. So right now it's perfectly aligned right here, so it just barely touches. We need a little bit more. I think that's close enough. So it just barely touches. And now I'm just going to turn the tie rod back until we have the same barely touching right here. So now while I was doing this, it moved the wheel on the other side and not on this side, because for some reason that has more friction on this side. So as you can see, I need to put it a bit more out again. I'm going to give it maybe 2 or 3 turns, and then we'll check again. That was 1 full turn. Let's check on the other side. So we're pretty much perfect. You can see, just barely touches right there. Now when you go to the other side, exactly the same, barely touches. So I think we're pretty close on the alignment. I'm not sure if it has to be a little bit toe in by factory or a little bit toe out, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And I'm going to tighten the lock nut in there again, and then we're going to take it on the road, see what happens, how it drives. So I tightened the lock nut, so everything is tight, and go for a drive. Just put the string back on to double check if everything's okay. It still seems fine. So yeah, I think it's time for test drive. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and have a